everybody, and welcome to another episode of Without Having Kicked a Ball. Yes, the international break is over, and everybody is refreshed and ready to go. The players, the pundits from the English game are all back and raring, and they're not the only ones, because here at Without Having Kicked a Ball, we are raring to go as well. So without further ado, let me introduce and grand welcome him back, the EFL guru. Yes, we've been talking about it 4 weeks, saying that he's going to come back. And finally, you EFL lovers, you're going to get your dose of EFL medicine because the guru is back. J. Alive Wheels, also known as Jordan. Hello, buddy.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can live up to that. Yes, hello. After a long spell on the figurative and literal treatment table, I am back for the first time this season, I think. And what a great time to be back, because there is more than ever to discuss. New managers, sackings, shocking new stadium plans announced, 3-3 draws, 5-1 drubbings. It's all kicking off in the EFL as usual.
It is, and yep, we are going to hone in on the EFL today, first and foremost. So we're going to do that first before the Premier League, as you EFL lovers have been starved. A few noticeable absentees. Mr. Ben Carney, I'm afraid, is still feeling those hamstrings, a bit of tightness. So he is on the sidelines, but should be with us back at some point at the beginning of December. And the man whose channel this is on, who we're always very grateful for him giving us this platform, Tube Mix himself, is in charge of making this video tonight, but he will not be joining us on the show as he has other engagements going on. But
Behind the scenes role.
He is
today.
in the background, where he is best, in the background, out of the way. So that is that. But as John said, we're refreshed, we're ready to go. The EFL is back, and that's exactly where we're going to start. Over to you, EFL guru.
Yes, right. So we pre-agreed that we do league by league, which is not the way I usually do these, but that's what we'll do. So we'll start with the Championship, and we'll start with the Friday night game, a derby between Preston, going very well in the Championship, and Blackburn Rovers, who are hit and miss, to say the least.
It's mailed by.
It was a good run of form that came to an end recently, but they did manage to get the win in the derby on Friday night. A decent game. I did watch it. We'll do some general EFL chat in a bit, so I won't go too in depth as usual. But the score was 2-1 to Blackburn Rovers. The goal scorers for Blackburn, Liam Miller, cancelled out by Alfie Devine just 1 minute later. Before Arno Gudjonsson, the son of Ida Gudjonsson, got the winner for Blackburn.
Do you mean the son of Ina Gudjonsson?
Yeah, Ida Gudjonsson.
I thought his name was Ina. Oh well.
No, anyway. Moving on into the Championship, Bristol City under Gerhard Struber faced off against managerless at that point Swansea. More on that a little bit later on. And battered them 3-0 at Ashton Gate. Goals from Rob Dickey, Emil Rees, and Yu Hirikawa continued what has been a very, very good job by Gerhard Struber. in my opinion, talking of good jobs, interim Southampton boss Ponder Eckhart um, has been doing an incredible job. He made it 3 wins in a row since taking over, demolishing former Southampton boss Nathan Jones and his Charlton side 5-1, thanks to goals from Brian Manning, Adam Armstrong, Casper Yander, and two from the fantastic Finn Azaz with
And
a
I think all
consolation.
5 goals. Sorry to interrupt. We're in the first half as well.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Even the Charlton goal, the sixth goal, the consolation from Lloyd Jones, was also in the first half. So there you go. It's not very often you see that, is it?
No, no, I do like Finnazaz though. I've always liked Finnazaz.
Yeah, I find it quite strange that he was brought in by Will Still along with Tom Fellows from West Brom, and yeah, they didn't really get a look in. But I think Will Still just we'll talk about it, but I think that he just couldn't work out his 11, and that was his main downfall really, because I don't think he ever played
I
a
can't believe
solid.
how little time it lasted. Not in terms of because they shouldn't have sacked him, but when he was appointed by Southampton, I thought it was a great appointment.
Well,
But
I think he should feel very hard done to, because if you look into the stats and the underlying numbers of the performances are very good, as in like the actual statistics in terms of like the actual play was good, but obviously when you're not scoring the goals, you're not scoring the goals. Moving on to a team that definitely can score goals, Frank Lampard's Coventry were
oh,
2-0 down at half time against Ryan Mason's West Brom. Two goals from Hegebo shocked the crowd at the CBS Arena. In fact, they were 2-1 down. Sorry, Josh Eccles got one back just before half time. But this Coventry side do not know when they are beaten. Ellis Sims and Victor Torp completed the turnaround to make it 3-2 and give Frank Lampard's Coventry a 7-point lead, which is now extended to 10 because we're doing this on a Wednesday and Coventry played yesterday.
can I
Paul,
apologise just to you because you said when Frank Lampard took over that it was a great appointment, and I thought it was just a PR appointment. Really, I thought he wasn't going to be good enough, a bit like Rooney. But despite doing a good job in Chelsea the first year, since then I thought his record had been really poor. But I'd like to apologise to you, George. Yeah, get it on record because
there we go.
he's done absolutely fantastic, and albeit he inherited a great squad from Mark Robbins, but yeah, he's taking them on to the next level. So I'm not saying it was the right decision to sack Mark Robbins. I still think it was a strange one, but all credit to Frank. He is looking super right now.
I think it's there are a couple of things that I think are very correct, and again, we'll talk about it in more detail a bit later on. It was a great squad that he inherited, but he has built a never say die attitude. He has built uh, one of the most irresistible championship forward lines that I think we've seen in a long time in the championship.
A bit like the
And
BMW since the
yeah,
BMW time.
so they are a joy. And I think that it gives me no greater pleasure as a Chelsea fan to see somebody that I always felt got very harshly treated. Did a good job at Derby, especially when you look at what Derby did after him. Did a good job at Chelsea until obviously he got the money, and then they weren't doing that great. Then Thomas Tuchel came in and won the Champions League. His job at Everton was to save them. He did that time and time again. And then obviously went back to Chelsea when it was already a mess. Maybe probably a move that he shouldn't have made at that time, but you can't really say no when it's the club that you love. But yeah, we'll move on. Um, Well, it's quite interesting. West Brom as well, by the way. They did get Jason Malumbi sent off for 2 yellow cards. I didn't mention.
They've
Ryan
slipped
Mason.
down the table as well.
Yeah, Ryan Mason started really well and has just kind of slipped a little bit. And I really don't want to see him. Well, this is one of the things that I want to talk about later on. But the more young English ex-player coaches in the game, the better for me. And I'm sure you
Yeah.
feel the same way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, moving on anyway. Birmingham City, I did mention shocking new stadium plans. They were unveiled by Birmingham City. They celebrated that by absolutely demolishing Norwich 4-1, two from Marvin Dutch and two from Jay Stansfield, with a consolation from Matthias Hiskgarden, the Danish striker. How did you like my pronunciation there?
Very, very good. Just to ask, what are the? You'll go into this detail, but there's new plans. Is there for St Andrews?
Supposedly a elite level new stadium is on the way. I have seen the mock-ups. It looks very fancy, very sort of Champions League esque. But
Very American.
yeah, but as you could probably imagine, the other thing that I want to mention about this game, again, we'll talk about it more in a little bit, but it was the first game for former Rangers manager Philip Clement, who took over from Liam Manning after Norwich's absolutely abysmal start to the season. Poor
And the home
recruitment.
record, terrible.
Yeah, poor recruitment, terrible at home, and a shame because it's a good manager that probably doesn't get another championship chance for a while now, which really is a shame because Liam Manning did a great job at Bristol. Um, Philip Clement is really interesting, and again, I've said this a million times, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. Um, Completely out of nowhere.
I like him though. I think things were not going well at Rangers as we've seen with the board and everything there.
Well,
Um,
I saw um, Will Still, Gary O'Neill, Russell Martin. I saw a guy that we'll talk about later, but Kim Hellberg. I
yeah,
saw a lot of names mentioned, but not one mention of Philippe Clement. So really out of the blue, like it, and we'll see what he does because I don't. I think he was. I think in the grand scheme of things, when you see that Russell Martin obviously came to replace him at Rangers and the job that he did, and also Danny Roll hasn't necessarily done that great since he's come
no,
into
but look at
Rangers
the
either.
board. Look at they've sacked their chief executive
Yeah, chief
for
exec and the head of
sport.
recruitment as well, or head
Yeah,
of football operations.
director,
Yeah,
sporting director.
it's a bit of a mess there at the moment. The same can't be said for Derby County, who were looking for, I think, their fifth win on the bounce at home to Watford, and they were 2-0 up in the game. Dion Sanderson and Sondre Langas at that point, before Watford pulled off a really remarkable comeback. Luca Kieramgard with the first goal before two goals in 3 minutes from Ido Kayembe gave Javi Gracia's Watford side um, the win. And again, we haven't talked a lot of EFL football at all. There's been a lot going on in our lives personally, hence I've not been on the show. But that's another thing that I'd quite like to talk about in a little bit. We've got so much to cover. I think it will be mostly EFL today, just to warn you, you Premier League enthusiasts.
I think they've had plenty of
Yeah,
that. Nice to see Happy Grazia back. I know again we'll
yeah,
go into it, but I
I
always really
absolutely
like him.
love him as a manager. He was one of my favourites when he was there, and I think was very harshly sacked, if I can remember rightly, the first time. Went into Leeds as well. I
Yes,
want to
he
say,
did.
yeah.
Yes, he did after
Jesse
Jesse Marsh
Marsh, yeah.
and
Before
before
Sam
Sam
Allardyce,
Allardyce.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
But a
uh,
really good manager, I think, if he's at a stable club. And I liked it as in, he said he saw it as a homecoming. So he obviously feels very connected with Watford, which is always good.
yeah. Ipswich and Wrexham played out a nil-nil draw. One of the things I loved about this was on Soccer Saturday, it was being covered by Abigail Davis, the Welsh, ginger-haired Welsh girl.
Yeah, I know
Um,
Abigail.
and she said, I've had stomach bugs that have been more entertaining than that first half. And that is one of the funniest things I think I've ever heard be said on Soccer Saturday. And there's quite a few good ones over the years.
That's
And
giving
that's,
Chris Kamara a run for
oh,
his money.
that's definitely up there. And when I say that I'd sat on my own in my bedroom and laughed for at least 5 minutes till tears were coming out because I thought it was that funny. I'm not joking. Probably wasn't that funny, but it's just the delivery was top tier. That's great broadcasting. Anyway, moving on. Leicester City versus Stoke City finished 2-1 to the mighty Foxes. Steffi Mavadidi with his first goal for a while, and Patson Daka with his first goal in over a year. With Bay John Ho with the goal for Stoke. Plenty of pressure on Cifuentes, slightly lifted for now. And Stoke, I'm not even going to mention because they're going to be a huge part of my conversation later on. An unreal job being done there, and that's so we'll leave
I
it at
always
that
knew it.
because
You guys doubted it a little bit when when you saw it was Stoke when he came in, Mark Robbins. But I just I've always thought his class. So
yeah, I agree. I do admit that I felt that some misgivings. I felt that it was a poison chalice, but listen, sometimes there's an antidote to potion to poisons, isn't there? So um, yeah, moving on. Oxford drew 1-1 with Middlesbrough, who are under the care of Mark Robbins' former assistant and the supposed reason for part of his downfall at Coventry, AD Viviash. He was taken interim charge until they appointed their new manager, who we'll talk about later on. It was a 1-1 draw. Luke Harris on loan from Fulham with his first goal for the O's before Morgan Whittaker, who couldn't buy a goal, has just recently started to come into a great run of form.
yeah,
So
like him was really good at Plymouth, and and I've always thought he was a good player.
should have gone to Lazio. Remember that when he nearly went to Lazio a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he turned it down, didn't he?
Turned it down to go to Middlesbrough.
Yeah. No, fair play to him.
Yeah. Portsmouth have been a little bit out of sorts recently. They got a huge win though against a very, very impressive this season Millwall side. Goals coming from Zach Swanson, Anton Segacic, and Josh Williams. I think it's Josh. I'm going to say Josh. Oh, Joe Williams it is. My apologies. Before a goal from Millwall, who were down to 10 men, thanks to a straight red card from Joe Bryan. Milo Ivanovic with the consolation for them. And finally, for your Saturday championship games, um, QPR 3, Hull 2. Two teams that are very entertaining to say the least this season. Goals for Elias Chair, Jimmy Dunn, and Roman Burrell for QPR, with goals for Hull coming from Joe Gelhart and Emmy Distan. Just before we move on from the championship, because of course there was the small matter of the Steel City Derby on Sunday lunchtime. That was won, of course, well, I say of course, but of course, by Sheffield United. 2 goals for Tyrese Campbell and a screamer from Tom Cannon. So this unlikely basement battle for at least one of these Sheffield sides go the way of the Blades.
Yeah, and
plenty,
I hope
plenty
it
to talk about.
hope it all sorts out for Sheffield Wednesday. I have to say, I know they got beaten there, but their attitude has been excellent. Some of the players, considering what they've been through. So,
It's
yeah,
very interesting because I don't find them to be a poor side.
no, no,
Uh, uh,
no.
and that's really important, especially as time will go on, um, because you need those, and they've got characters like Bannon and guys like Liam Palmer who've been with the club for a long time. I, I'm the same. I hope it works out for them. It's not looking great. They've got to start picking the points up.
No, but
Um,
the club is more important than the league they're in right now.
that's right, and it's one of those things where that they have just got to, like you said, they're at a point where Chansiri is gone now, um, and they've just got to do what they can, and that'll be what it'll be. To be honest with you,
Yeah, and
uh,
we might come on to. I might ask you in a bit about the owners' fit and proper persons test because there's too many owners, in my opinion, that are ruining football clubs. Anyway, that's where we
yeah,
go.
we're gonna move on into League One now, and to do that, we have to go all the way back to Thursday night when Peterborough, under the charge of Luke Williams, beat top of the table Stockport 3-0 at Peterborough. It was goals from Ben Wood, Kyrell Lisby, the son of Kevin Lisby, and brother of Kai Reese, who plays for Colchester, and Brandon Kaler with the goals. Now this. Um, well, actually, I'll tell you a funny little anecdote. So, Luke Williams was very much said to be the mastermind behind that really successful MK Dons side that Russell Martin had.
Yeah,
Russell Martin goes to Swansea. Luke Williams goes to Notts County, masterminds them getting promoted to League Two. Does very well, gets the Swansea job, doesn't do terribly, but whatever. Anyway, he's out of work. He about a week or maybe even a few days before he gets reappointed as he gets appointed as the Peterborough job. He does a podcast where he talks about his management philosophies, and it came across incredibly well. And I'm sat there thinking, okay, there are a few clubs that need a manager right now. I could see him doing a really good job at Peterborough, genuinely. And a couple of days later, Luke Williams. I didn't see anywhere, and it's the same for, not to spoil it, but it's the same for Liam Richardson at Reading. I didn't see anywhere that Luke Williams or Liam Richardson had been hired by Reading and Peterborough, respectively, right? So when it comes to FA Cup weekend and Peterborough have got Luke Williams and Liam Richardson is with Reading, I'm thinking, wow, like, why didn't I see that? Anyway, turns out so far it's been an absolutely perfect performance, because you would not have known that Peterborough were in the relegation zone and Stockport were top. They were absolutely demolished, like, absolutely destroyed. The
I
press
didn't know
was
that.
impeccable.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't know that Darren Ferguson had gone.
yeah, I don't think it was a decision that the owner, Darren McAntony, wanted to make, but I think he felt like a
He's been
change was
in charge
needed.
about 10 times, hasn't he, in Peterborough?
Yeah, I think it's his fourth spell. It's
Yeah,
fourth spell. Did you not know that?
no,
Well, this is what I'm here for. You see, this is why I'm the guy, mate. Um,
right. Get your wig back on.
anyway, it was genuinely top class football from Peterborough, and like we said, it's probably one of those that we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, it was just like, wow, what a performance, and I think they've continued on that good form, although I think they're two losses in a row. I'm sorry, they played last night and lost to Stevenage. So, but I think it was 3 wins out of three to start. So that's very, very good. Anyway, moving on. Start with a postponement in League One. You may or may not have heard that there was a fire that broke out in St James Park, the Exeter Stadium, which has meant that their game against Burton Albion had to be postponed.
Yeah, did hear that.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, a bit of a sad situation. Hopefully, it gets sorted soon enough. Basement battle between Port Vale and Plymouth. Quite surprised, to be honest. Did a bit of a hot take, I guess, or maybe not. Quite surprised that Tom Cleverley has kept his job. Um, Either way, it was former Port Vale striker Laurent Talai was the difference that moved Plymouth off the bottom of League One
Hey,
to
Bale
place
scum, Bale scum, Bale
put,
scum.
to
Get
put
them
Port
down
Vale on
in.
the bottom.
Hey,
Um, so
City
yeah,
Bale. Bale
I
of
must
it.
admit, it's two clubs that I'm quite surprised haven't changed managers. Even though, as I said earlier on, I want young English ex-players. Well, I say young. Darren Moore isn't young, but he's like sort of decent age. I want those guys in jobs. That's what I want to see, and especially I don't want to start a debate here, but as a black manager, I think it's very, very important that he is in a job and doing a good job, which he has done. Uh, in a whole, in the whole at Port Vale. So
Boo.
please don't sack a guy that got you promotion. Please just know that he's got.
Darren, you're a better manager than Port Vale, mate. You're well above their ceiling. Get away from them, the Vale scum.
Please, these stupid owners just realise that this guy's managed in the Championship, League One, and the Premier League, and is not a guy that you should let go. But yeah,
Although
fuck the Vale.
I'd walk away from the Vale. Well, I
Fuck
want
the
to
Vale
read.
is what I'll say.
Yeah,
Um,
fuck the Vale.
okay, moving on into what I'm going to call the heartwarming story of the week. They took the lead Wimbledon in the 70th minute, a goal from Ali Smith, before off the bench came young 18-year-old Harrison Bettany for his league debut. And he scored both goals, including one absolute worldie of a free kick. So how about that? Two goals to give your team the comeback win and a beauty to boot. It's a crazy story, that one.
Can you just tell us which teams they were? Because you cut out for a second.
It was Wimbledon versus Wigan. My apologies.
And it was Wigan that won, yeah?
It was Wigan that won from a goal down.
With that 18-year-old youngster.
That's right. Yeah, his name was. Just checking that his name is Harrison Bettany because I didn't check it before I'd done it. Anyway, moving on.
Good on him.
Another example of two young English coaches as Conor Harahan's Barnsley absolutely put Jack Wilshere's Luton to the sword 5-0. Goals from Reyes Cleary, Patrick Kelly, Luca Connell, a Gideon Codger own goal, and Davis Keeler Dunn saw Harahan topple Wilshere and an absolutely emphatic result. Been pretty impressed with Jack Wilshere's Luton, but I've also been pretty impressed with Harahan Barnsley. So again, one we'll probably talk about in a little bit. Another two teams that we're
It's Connor Houlihan's Irish, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah. Just because I think you said two young English managers and
Yeah, I'm British all the same.
yeah. No, he is British. I just couldn't remember if Houlihan was Irish or not.
Um Another two teams that we are going to talk about played out a goalless draw. That's Bolton and Bradford. That finished 0-0, of course. Leighton Orient and Blackpool played out a 1-1 draw. Aaron Connolly with a screamer in the 23rd minute before Teo Adaramola was sent off for the O's. And Ashley Fletcher at the death in the 94th minute got the equaliser for Blackpool.
Remember Aaron Connolly? He was at Brighton scoring goals at one time.
Against, I'm going to say, against Spurs. I think he scored. Did he score 2 against Spurs?
Yeah, he scored a few, didn't he, in the Prem?
Yeah, he's a good little. He was a good little player. 3 goals in 11 minutes was enough for Huddersfield to bypass Mansfield. Bojan Radulovic, Dion Charles, and Lasse Sorensen got a much needed win for Lee Grant's side. A consolation for Mansfield coming from Will Evans. Tough luck for Cloughie, but I'm sure he will continue to do a decent job as he has done there for years. Northampton and Cardiff met at Northampton, and Cardiff got themselves a first win in 6. Goals from Joel Cowell. Before that was cancelled out by Manchester United loanee Ethan Wheatley to make it
Well,
1-1. Before 3 minutes later, Wheatley put into his own net for an own goal for 2-1 for Cardiff.
oh no!
Uh, And
Uh,
then a 93rd minute game finisher from Chris Willock, who absolutely should not be playing it in League One because he is
Brother
quality.
Joe Willock, yeah?
That's correct, yeah. Um, Liam Richardson returned to. Sorry, Liam Richardson faced his old side because he didn't return to Rotherham. Faced his old side Rotherham at the Select Car Leasing Stadium, or as I like to call it, the Majewski Stadium or the Mad Stad. But it's obviously not owned by him anymore, so you can't call it that.
Oh,
And played out a 1-1 draw. Josh Benson got the opener for Rotherham before Charlie Savage hit one of the best first-time volleys you will see in a long time to give Reading the draw.
very good.
Also drawing Stevenage and Donny 0-0. Great start from Doncaster, dropped off quite significantly. Stevenage, very good start, but have just about kept pace. Um, Moving on, Wickham and Lincoln faced off. Lincoln with the chance to go top of League One with a victory here. Not to be, though. 2 goals from Bristol City loanee Sam Bell and a 88th minute winner from Jack Grimmer gave Wickham the 3-2 win. The goals from Lincoln came from Justin Abiku and Freddie Draper. Moving on into League Two. Gillingham and Barnet played out a 1-1 draw. Bradley Dack with the goal, with the leveller for Gillingham, cancelling out Callum Stead's early opener.
There you are, Ames Gillingham, she calls them, because my girlfriend's dad is from Gillingham, but she calls them Gillingham, so Gillingham.
Oh, Gillingham is incorrect. I'll tell you that right now.
I know it is, but she calls them Gillingham.
It was a away day success once again for the fantastic Matt Sadler's Walsall. Daniel Carney with yet another goal in a fantastic loan spell so far. And Priestley Farquharson, what a name. And also, I think it was his first appearance for 15 months because of injury with the goal that secured the 3 points. So
Who was that against?
Priestley Farquharson for Walsall against Harrogate.
All right. Lovely.
Cambridge United travelled to Barrow and got all 3 points thanks to 2 goals from a guy who we should know fairly well. Pelly, Ruddock and Panzu, well known for going all the way from non-league to the Premier League.
Yeah.
With Luton Town with 2 goals here to give his side the victory. It was also 2-0 at Bromley against Salford. Omar Shwomni and Will Hundermark with the goals there. Steve Cottrell's Cheltenham faced Darrell Clark's disastrous Gas and came away with a 1-0 win. Joe Tompkinson, the American, with his first goal in English football. Darrell Clark's Bristol Rovers, terrible again and absolutely plummeting down the table at a terrifying rate. Continuing on, Crawley and Accrington played out a 1-1 draw.
Boo.
Isaac Heath, the exciting young player on loan from Everton, who I think is a relation of Adrian Heath, uh, obviously a legend at Everton. I also knew that Trevor Sinclair's son, who I also think is called Isaac, is in that Accrington side. So plenty of names to maybe keep an eye out for. The equaliser from Crawley came from Kabango Shamanga.
What a
Oh,
name.
always a difficult name to pronounce.
What a name that is. Yeah, yeah,
M-
brilliant. I'd love that name.
moving
Kabanga,
on to
Kabanga.
moving on to a game that definitely means a lot to us. Crew Alexandra 3, Chesterfield
What a
3
game.
saw the Railway Men. Well, it was very much like a railway match, wasn't it? With the Spy Rights. Goals coming from James Berry, who Emre Tezgel hits the bar, the goalkeeper collects, boots it upfield, it goes straight to James Berry, who runs into space and curls it, deflected past Tom Booth. Very irritating. Then a goal from Lee Bonnis to make it 2-0 to Chesterfield.
I know
Then
I was cursing at that point. I was like,
yeah, not great. Then Emre Tezgel pulled a goal back on the 35th minute.
he's been in
Before
great form here.
he's great. Before Callum Aegis scored a very clever header. Jesus, a very clever header. That was difficult to say to make it 2-2. Then uh, Chesterfield pulled themselves in front thanks to Dylan Markanday for 3-2 before James Connolly got his first goal for the club. He'd been with us for 2 seasons now, I want to say. Absolute bullet header for 3-3. We've got a lot to talk about with the Alex, I feel. And we'll do that very shortly because we're nearly there now. Uh,
Great game.
Fleet, Fleetwood beat Shrewsbury 3-1. Goals from Graydon, McCann, and Matty Virtue before a consolation from Ishmael Kabir for the Shrews. James Bolton also sent off for 2 yellows for Fleetwood as well. Um, Danny Cowley's Colchester, we were talking about them and one of their players just before. They travelled to Notts County and went a goal down thanks to a Kane Vincent Young goal in the 7th minute before coming back in style. Harry Anderson, Mika Umbick, and Will Goodwin with goals to give Colchester the 3-1 win. Then Oldham beat Newport. There's plenty to talk about with Newport in a little bit. 3-0, 2 goals from Josh Hawkes and a goal from Joe Quigley. It won't spoil you their new manager is Newport, but it is a shock name that none of us knew apart from myself, of course, but it was a shock to the boys, so I'm sure it'll be a shock to you guys. And Grimsby played out a Desmond, a 2-2 draw. Ollie Palmer and Billy Bodin, the older heads in that Swindon team, with the goals before Kieran Green and Danny Rose made it 2-2. And finally, Tranmere Rovers and MK Dons also played out a 2-2 draw. 2 goals from Charlie Whitaker for Tranmere before to give them the 2-0 lead, what was, before John Mellish made it 2-1. Jonathan Lecco was sent off for his second yellow card before Kane Thompson Summers levelled it all up for the Dons. That was heavy.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that I think we should talk about I want to do a little bit of manager chat, but I think we'll come to that when we get there. I think it would be remiss of us to not talk about, sorry, the top three in the championship, that being Coventry. Um, Obviously, they have been amazing and are now 10 points clear because on Tuesday night, we don't usually cover midweek games, but just for this, I'm going to have to because it's good context. They played in Middlesbrough and beat them 4-2, thanks to 2 goals from Ellis Sims and 2 goals from Liam Kitchen, with Morgan Whittaker and Bobby Thomas with the goals for Middlesbrough. So I think, and we haven't spoken since the Rob Edwards situation. I don't necessarily know whether that's something we need to go into here. I don't know whether you guys did it when you last did the show or.
We just no, we just mentioned it.
I don't think he'd been announced, has he? Since I don't think he'd been announced since before you did the last show,
No,
right?
yeah,
So obviously they've done amazing, and he's done an amazing job. Um, I find it really difficult because I don't know what I would have done if I was in his situation. But then I think I said this in a voice note. Um, this is partly Championship chat, partly Premier League chat. I think I said this in a voice note to the group, but I don't know whether you saw it, where I basically said that while I've had obviously a lot going on in my personal life, I haven't necessarily paid a lot of attention to football and didn't realise how bad of a situation Wolves were in.
yeah,
So I think that, but you can take it either way. If he gets them out of it, it's one of the greatest jobs ever. But also, because of when he was appointed, if they get relegated, it's not necessarily his fault.
but he has still got the majority of the season.
Yeah, I think it's. I wonder, and I'd like to get Will's thoughts as well, but obviously we can't. We'll save that for next time.
I think it's
What?
a silly thing, but for me, I know Wolves are this club. I get it, and if they were mid-table Premier League club, may be different. But Middlesbrough were flying under him. They picked him up off the scrap heap um, when he was a massive part of the reason Luton got relegated, not only to the Championship, which is fair enough, but to League One. I know he got sacked before they went down, but he was a massive reason. And Middlesbrough, after Michael Carrick, took a chance on him when nobody else. So I think he was quite lucky to get a top end championship job at a big club like Middlesbrough, which is a massive club in the northeast. I think all clubs are big in the northeast, but yeah, big football club with big tradition. And then to leave that 10 games in, 12 games in, and go to Wolves is just. And I get he played for them for the majority of his career, but I just feel that yeah, he had a good thing going. He spoke about family and building something. And if he was that good, you'd back yourself that the Wolves job would come again with his connection. So, and it's not like he'd been at Middlesbrough for years. So I just feel he's made the wrong choice. But I understand why he's gone, but he's young enough. You know, if he was at Neil Warnock's age, for example, or Steve Bruce, and that was his club, and the job came up, then fair enough. But he's young enough that if he did a good enough job with Middlesbrough, the Wolves job would likely come up again in the future. So, what is he, 41, something like that? So,
Yeah.
I just feel he's made a mistake for his career as well, considering the opportunity he was given at Middlesbrough. And I understand why he has gone, but I can. I feel he's made the wrong choice, and I can understand why Middlesbrough fans are so upset.
Yeah, it's really interesting, this one, because I feel like it does show that even though footballers are supposed to be, a little bit cavalier, and they go wherever, mercenaries, when there is a club that's in your heart, it's hard to turn down. We were talking about Frank Lampard earlier on. Was it the right decision for him to go back to Chelsea after not necessarily leaving in the best situation with Everton, even though he did always do what the remit was for Everton at that time? But that's besides the point. Um, I feel like it's difficult because I kind of think that he will have thought to himself, this is an okay squad for the Premier League that is really underperforming.
I don't
Somebody
think it is though. You look at it. Sorry to interrupt, but you look at have lost in the last few years. Neto, Cunha, um, you know, um, João Moutinho, Ruben Neves, uh, you know,
Semedo, the
um,
captain,
Semedo, the lad that went to City, Mateus Nunes. So, and then not
Ignori.
ignoring. And so you look at even going back to like Gibbs White, and look how that ended up. So, you know, and they've not really replaced these players properly. And other than Strand Larson, who I do think is a decent, not amazing, but decent for the level, I don't see where their creativity is going to come from. And
So
I think they do, maybe alongside Burnley, have the weakest squad in the division.
I think so. So this is my opinion. I think the weakest squads in the Premier League, and I know this is Championship chat, but we'll get back to it. Don't worry. The weakest squads in the Premier League currently are Leeds, Wolves, West Ham. In
No,
my opinion,
West Ham is not a weaker squad than Burnley.
I'll
When you
explain why. I'll
when
explain
you've
why I
got
think West Ham.
Paqueta,
I'll
Bowen,
explain. Hang on. I'll explain
Irlam,
why I think West Ham is a weaker squad than Burnley, because there's no confidence in that West Ham side.
although they have some.
They're slowly starting to,
Yeah,
performance level is the one thing, the reason that I hang my hat on Burnley completely. I think they're very much in trouble, and will, they do a great job to survive. But my belief is that if you watch Burnley play, they haven't been battered in any game. They've
but
they've
then
fought they've
you
fought
can't
tooth
say
and nail. They fought tooth and nail for a team, with a team that they've mostly kept together, which broke defensive records in the Championship, and is one of the best defensive and all-round
right.
teams the
Yeah,
Championship has
but
seen in the modern
but
era.
but that you're right, and that has something to do with their chances. But just because your confidence is low and you're out of form, which West Ham were, they were playing abysmal, doesn't mean that you have. Doesn't mean that's a bit different to the quality of your squad. That losing belief can happen to any squad. You know, it can, but saying what the quality is. Wilson's been a quality player. Yes, it's had injuries. Paqueta, quality, better than Odegaard, in my opinion. Um, you know, um,
That's
Areola,
controversial.
Areola, good goalie. Wan-Bissaka might not be great going forward, but can defend
Yeah,
well.
listen.
I don't.
It's the
What I'm
whole
saying
package,
is,
isn't it?
I don't see that with Burnley. I don't. I see hard-working players, honest players who know how to defend, and you're right. And the defensive record compared to teams that have come up in the past have been very good. But I don't see. I just see a group of hard-working players that might survive, but I don't think their quality is anywhere near a West Ham level. But
I genuinely will say at this point, I believe that up until this point, the three worst teams in the Premier League this season have been Wolves, um, West Ham, and Leeds. Is the way that I see. You could say Forest, but they're a completely different entity under Daesh, so it's not fair to say that they're the third worst team. For me, it is absolutely, without question, Wolves, West Ham, Leeds.
interesting, and I think Leeds surprised me the way they started the season because I'm not sure Daniel Farke's up to this level. I never have been, but they started well. But anyway, let's get back to the
Yeah,
championship.
so I genuinely don't know where we were now.
Rob Edwards.
Rob Edwards. Yeah, I just don't know because I just feel like if they don't survive, it's another relegation on his CV, isn't it?
What do you think the remit for him would have been to survive or
Do you?
to your best
I
and
think
go
it's do
next
your
season?
best. I absolutely think it's do your best.
So if they do get relegated, will he be there at the start of next season?
You'd like to think so, but my opinion is no. But then I feel like if he thought he wasn't going to have the job at the start of next season, would he have taken it?
Hmm. Interesting
Because I'm
one.
not being funny, as good of a coach as he is, and he's proved it with that Middlesbrough side, and he proved it at Luton and Forest Green, whatever. His CV will not look appealing
No.
if he continues to take these jobs and do poor.
And owners change their mind. I mean, we could lose every game from now to the end of the season and go, well, the owner told me I'd have next season. Well, we all know if he was to lose every game, he wouldn't be in the job anyway.
I think the
So,
thing is, and again, we can talk about this a little bit when we get to the Premier League, but Wolves have just got absolute, like, Strand Larson is great, but he's basically on his own. Hwang's a good player, but like you've got like Hwang, Jose Sarr, and Sam Johnson are two good goalkeepers for this level. Defensively, they're absolutely shocking. It's very, very concerning for Wolves. But I, honest to
mm,
God, I will say this right now: of anybody, of any character, because managers do sort of take on characters. If there's any character or a manager or a guy I want to succeed, it's him, because
yeah,
I think that he has done really good jobs when he's given the time, and when he's not. The only blot on the only genuine blot on his CV for me is what the hell happened to that Luton side last year. I can't understand why it went so badly.
so
Um,
do you think he made, going back to, did he make the right decision?
I think time will tell, but it's not what I would have done.
Yeah.
But then I think it's case by case. If you are a manager who's only ever done good jobs and you want to take on a relegation struggler in the Premier League, you do it. It's your it'll be your first. If something goes wrong, that's your first strike.
Well, no,
He
you could
he
say
has
it's the
got
second strike.
no, not. I'm saying if it's a manager that's not done anything
Oh,
wrong in a job,
yeah.
he has got a very good youth coaching pedigree with Wolves under 18s and what have you. An incredible job at Forest Green. Uh, Deserved more time, but on the face of it, a poor job at Watford. But he did deserve more
He
time.
didn't get the time, you can't. Yeah.
But again, on the face of it, when you're looking for a new manager, that's a mark against him. So there's one.
Yeah, but I think you put an asterisk next to Watford because they do that with everyone.
Okay, okay. And then Luton, incredible success. Okay, you could say quite like you do with Frank Lampard. It was Nathan Jones's team. That's fair, but still an incredible promotion and an incredible fight to stay in the Premier League that they obviously didn't win. But yeah, then I just like you said, can't. That's a blot against him as well because he can't seem to figure out how he managed to
Goes up,
lift.
but again, when confidence, we go back to confidence drop. That squad was a good, really good top end, top 10 championship side still, top six maybe still. But when the confidence goes, it can be very difficult to bounce back.
Yeah, and then you've also got the thing of, and some owners will look at this negatively. He left Middlesbrough in the middle of the season.
Having only managed them for 15 games.
So there's plenty to go on there. I don't know. We'll leave it to the end of this, but they have got a new manager in, and it is a really interesting one. But we'll just talk about Coventry and Stoke a little bit, and then we'll go back to Middlesbrough to
Yeah.
talk about their new manager. Coventry, we kind of touched on them already. I think the last time that we actually sat down and watched a Soccer Saturday together was in the pub, and Coventry had beaten QPR 7-0. And I
Yeah.
think at the time we kind of just thought that, they are a free scoring side. Eventually, there will come a time where they lose ground, and they just haven't. And it's remarkable. Obviously, they did lose to Wrexham, but and I personally I thought that was the moment where they started to slip, but they haven't.
Yeah, they
Obviously,
bounce
in,
back. You're gonna lose games in a 46 game season.
in the game against West Brom, 2-0 down to come back to win 3-2. Fantastic. Dominated by Middlesbrough last night. Managed to go in at half time 2-0 up despite being the worst team. Got pegged back to 2-2. Came back with 2 goals in 2 minutes to win. And that's incredible. I've run out of the words to describe how good I think that is. And I don't think it's just because of who he is. I think, well, it is, but it's also the amount of stick that he got throughout his career as a manager for perceived bad jobs when he actually never really did that bad at any of them.
And the foundations that were put down there from Mark Robbins for years and years, and the stability.
It's a huge job. It's a huge, huge job to take on to be the manager to replace the guy who built an absolute footballing legacy from League Two to the
Well,
Championship with
yeah,
Coventry.
Coventry fans say is the best manager they've ever had.
Well, I am going to put it out there now. I think Coventry will get promoted this season.
I think
I think
they're in a great. It's theirs to lose.
my bit of advice would be and he's been pretty good at this while he's been the Coventry manager, Frank. Do not mess with the team too much.
Don't be the Tinker Man.
Yeah, do not go and sign 3 or 4 players in January that are all starters. Bring maybe one, maybe two in,
Keep the
uh,
squad harmony.
and don't move. Don't leave that job.
He's not going to leave that job.
No,
Not this season.
I think he is a. I think he's been burnt too many times now to know that he needs to stay where he is.
And Coventry's a great club. Coventry
Because
used to.
I don't see a scenario currently where he would ever get the Chelsea job again.
No, and I don't see a job currently, having said what you've said, which is a very good point, having been burnt a few times, where he would leave while they're in this position.
I think it's also
Um,
it's got to hurt more because um, he did okay in the jobs that he's had and still got sacked and vilified as a poor manager. When actually there's tons of people, including his teammates in the golden generation, in quotation marks, that all have had incredibly poor managerial careers.
yeah, yeah, he's
Rooney,
been.
for one. Although I'll be fair to Rooney, I don't think he's choosing the right jobs.
No, and
I
Gerrard's
think
a
he's,
funny one because he won the league with Rangers, to be fair.
but I think that Frank Lampard's managerial career is. I don't think it matches quite up to Gerrard's league win, but Gerrard's the one that gets a lot of stick, and um, but he has had a very good career. You look at like Sol Campbell in management, not great. Even guys like Tom Cleverley now, not great.
Yeah.
It's easy to get jobs based on who you are. It's much harder to have those jobs and stay in them and do well. So,
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel that.
fair play to Frank. He has gone to. I thought Derby was a good club to go to, and I know what happened afterwards, but a big club. And I think obviously, I felt he took the Chelsea job too early. Again, we talk
But
about.
again, it's Rob
We
Edwards,
talk,
isn't it? It's
well,
the
well, I
same
was just
thing.
about to say that we talk about Rob Edwards, but I'm looking at the age of Frank at the time. It maybe was too soon, although he did very well in his first season. Well,
So
I look,
Frank would have been. So Frank retired in 2017. He was 38. He took the Chelsea job in 1920. So he would have been the same age as Rob Edwards now. He's 40. He would have been 41,
yeah. So I think he maybe took that too young,
which
but
I think is only. I think Enzo Maresca is younger than him. Is that right?
maybe.
I don't actually know whether that's right
But
or not.
yeah, but I think fair play to Frank, fair play to Coventry. I'm sure Mark Robbins is happy to see them up there as well. But yeah, it's looking good, and he's managed to get an extra 5% out of them as well. So
It's
good
a
on.
lesson as well in if you are if you're a manager coming in to replace a manager who had nothing but success for years on year, it's a lesson in how to transition. Similarly with Arne Slot and Jurgen Klopp, the transition between them was so fantastic because he didn't really do very much.
And now he has done much. We've seen the maybe starting to fall off a bit.
Yeah, I think. There's a couple of things that I want to mention about Coventry as well. The forward line, Hadji Wright, Ellis Sims, Brandon Thomas Asante, just fantastic.
are all Premiership, lower Premiership players, I think.
I agree now. I do agree. I think Sims and Wright definitely. I think Thomas Asante is special, but is he as well rounded as Sims and Wright? Maybe not.
I couldn't believe Everton let Sims go. I didn't think he got a fair chance at Everton.
No, but there you go, PSR and all that. I think the fullback Jay Silva is fantastic, along with his other fullback Milan van Ewijk, who I thought was sold, but apparently not. The goalkeeper Carl Rushworth on loan from Brighton, one of many young British goalkeepers, because Rushworth, of course, is Welsh. Um, Actually, I don't think that's right. I'm sure he played for England under 21. Did he? He might have changed.
He is English, I think.
I'm sure he changed. You know what? I'm going to check that. I'm going to go on to. I'm going to go and check that on FC26. But yeah, Carl Rushworth, one of Brighton's young goalkeepers out on loan, doing very
He
well.
can't be that young now. He's getting older.
24 is young for a goalkeeper, though.
Yeah, he needs to start making it.
I
Well,
must admit, I feel quite bad for Brighton when you've got the guy that was the starting goalkeeper for England under 21s in Rushworth can't get a game. England under 21s current starting goalkeeper James Beadle, who we both have seen many a time for Crew, he can't get a game, and so it's a bit of a.
and the former under 21, James Trafford, can't get a game either.
Well, that's at Man City, but yeah, and then you've also got an incredibly young goalkeeper who's their current number one in Bart Verbruggen. So, yeah, I like the spine of the Coventry team. I think it is a fantastic team. I think Victor Torp in midfield is another fantastic addition, and it's just been, as a Chelsea fan, but also as somebody that wants different people in the Premier League year on year as well.
Different teams, yeah.
In different teams, and so yeah, Carl Rushworth is English and 24, so ignore me. It's also the thing again of like bringing in um players that did very well in like Mason Clark on the wing from Peterborough. They brought him in, and he's a fantastic player that's done really well. Jack Redoni, they brought in from Wimbledon. He's adapted very well. Um, I just think it's a great team that deserves to be in the Premier League, and that's irregardless of who the manager is or not.
And not only that, it's been a long time since Coventry were in the Premier League. They were in the Premier League at one point.
Gordon
So,
Strachan, yeah,
so
player manager,
yeah.
40 years old. And they had,
So,
I think, Dion Dublin up front as well.
yeah,
Um,
good to see them doing well.
yeah,
Having climbed back up the football league pyramid.
similarly, like we were always going to talk about Mark Robbins, his Stoke. Yeah, another one where it's difficult to know what to say because it's been so good.
And a bit different to Coventry and Middlesbrough, and they've been around the playoffs in recent years or in the playoffs. And in Coventry's case, an FA Cup semi-final, where Stoke, since relegation from the Premier League in the 17-18 season and losing some of their best players, a bit like the way Wolves are now, has never really been able to replace it, and were a poison chalice, went through managers such as they had Mark Hughes, then they had Paul Lambert, then they had They've had managers like um, Nathan Jones. I think Gary Rowett did a job
Yeah,
there.
Steven Schumacher,
Stephen Schumacher, Michael
Michael
O'Neill.
O'Neill.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah,
so
it's an incredible team again that just knows it knows not like it's never beaten. Some genuine quality,
yeah.
some
And
vintage in there.
and Mark Robbins has turned around what was seen as a bit of a poison chalice. You know,
Yeah,
like I've said, the clubs we've been on about, Middlesbrough, Coventry, um, you know, that they've been in and around it. So, but for Mark Robbins, he came to a side that was looking more like relegation fodder.
I mean, you look at some of the names in this team in terms of the experience. I mean, first of all, for me, the best goalkeeper in the championship by a mile, Victor Johansson, just can save anything. Is fantastic. But then you look at the experience of guys like Ben Wilmot, been in the championship for years. Aaron Cresswell, obviously a left back, a former England international.
And it's still a very good player, yeah.
Lewis Baker has been around the Championship for a long time now. Ben Gibson has been in the Premier League and the Championship for a very long time now. Of course, Stephen Nzonzi, who's returned to Stoke after 10 years this season and has been absolutely unbelievable in the
Yeah.
centre of midfield. A World Cup winner, of course, Stephen Nzonzi.
And
Um,
former Stoke hero and Stoke hero once again.
yeah, and they've got a
I love to see that, by the way, when household names go back, even if it's at their end of their towards the end of their career. I love to see players going back to their clubs that we associate them with.
Yeah, it's what you want, isn't it? It's what you want when you're sat there and you think when you're like the football romantic within you. It is what you want. It's you want those players that were so good to eventually come back one day, and hopefully do well. So yeah, I don't know. I think it all kind of depends on Middlesbrough where Stoke finish, which is what we're going to talk about now because
But
they,
from where they've been, sorry, playoff, even playoffs would be a great achievement for Stoke from where they've been.
yeah, I completely agree with you. Um, well, it all depends, like I said, for me personally, on Middlesbrough. They've brought in a new coach, and it's a name that I've never heard of until just recently. But there's plenty of links. He was linked with the Norwich job. He supposedly, here's a little wrinkle for you because it's very interesting.
Had
He
agreed Swansea.
he was the board's favourite to replace Luke Edwards last season, but Alan Sheehan did such a good job in temporary charge that they made the decision give um, give Alan Sheehan the job, which led to at the start of this season some of the higher ups on the football side leaving the club. Then, as Sam said, he had supposedly agreed to take over as Swansea boss and was on a plane, supposedly to Swansea. However, he was actually on that plane to go and sign for Middlesbrough. That is Kim Hellberg. What do we know about Kim Hellberg? Well, he is 37. He had a 15-year career in the lower regions of Swedish football. He's had a number of jobs throughout. Um, he has risen to prominence due to a decent job at Hammarby in the Allsvenskan, which is the Swedish Premier League. stats win percentage of 56.16. He's won plenty in terms of promotions, lower league promotions. Supposedly a very, very exciting manager. I can't say I know too much about him. I will read you this though.
It's a bit like Arson Who, as in
He let me just read you this. He played as a midfielder in Sweden's lower divisions and began coaching during his playing career. In 2018, he led IF Sylvia to promotion to the third tier Etan of the Swedish divisions. He was appointed assistant manager of Allsvenskan club AFK Norrköping in 2020, and at the end of the following year, named in his first top flight head coach job at IFK Varnamo. He led Hanaby IF to consecutive runner-up positions in 24 and 25. So, my understanding of Hammarby is they are Swedish minnows, by the way. So, in terms of the job he's done, it's very impressive.
yeah, and
I,
to do
I
it back to back as well. I know it's a different league, but
this is one of those top name for the Swansea job, supposedly agreed. Also, favourite for the Norwich job before Clement came in, which again we'll get to in a second. And then goes to Middlesbrough. I have not seen any of his teams play. I couldn't tell you anything about what we're due to expect.
we'll
But
find out.
these people in the data era, where it's all data driven, this guy was the favourite for three of the biggest jobs on reputation in terms of clubs in the Championship: Norwich, Swansea, and Middlesbrough. He must be something.
Yeah, for them all to be
So
interested. But as we know, data doesn't win you football matches. It's what happens on the pitch. So we'll
So I
see.
think I think we can be cautiously optimistic because
Or yeah, the one thing I would say, the championship is a completely different animal.
for every one of these we've seen succeed, we've seen just as many of these data hires
So,
fail. So interesting. Now we mentioned the Swansea job.
the good thing is as well, he is going into a club with momentum. So
Yes,
we
he is. That's true, and I believe that if he doesn't overdo it and doesn't try and change all sorts of different things, he might be all right.
who is the there's a guy who is American that's come into the English leagues, and I can't remember who it is. The
I don't
manager
know.
is right. I'll have to have a look. Anyway,
I haven't got a clue who you're on about.
so oh no, is it from one in Scotland? I can't. There's an American guy somewhere that's come in. Anyway, carry on.
No idea what you're on about. Anyway, moving on. The Swansea job, like we said, Helberg did not take it. Instead, that was given to former Liverpool first team coach Vitor Matos in what is his second um, manager role. Let's talk about him. Matos began his coaching career coaching youth teams in Portugal, including Porto. After 2 years coaching at Shandong Luong in China, he returned to Porto before joining Premier League club Liverpool as elite development coach under Jurgen Klopp, similar to Endo Maresca, did the same thing with Pep Guardiola.
Is that the
5
same
years,
as the assistant manager?
elite development coach is like basically like your under 21s manager,
Right.
or you're like your under 21s to first team
Yeah.
halfway kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, 5 years later, Matos joined Pep Linders as his assistant at Red Bull Salzburg, which is funny because obviously Pep Linders is now Pep Guardiola's coach.
And he was Pep
assistant manager.
Linders
So
was Jurgen Klopp's, wasn't he?
yeah. In 2025, Matos became the manager of second division Portuguese side Maritimo, his first job as a head coach. He was then appointed Swansea City manager.
Right, so he's not been in charge of the team previously very long then.
I've got concerns about this one. I'll tell you why. Managerial statistics for Maritimo in the second division of Portugal.
Yeah,
Played 12, won 6, drawn 2, lost 4.
not much to go
50%
on.
win rate. Not much to go off. Lower than the championship. They were beaten in his first game last night and were fairly poor from what I've heard. Um, Played a 4-3-3. Looks like most of the same personnel that was being used by Sheehan. Even less to go on with this one than than with Hellberg really, because at least
In terms
Hellberg
of
is
managing, yeah.
at least with Hellberg you can say he has done decent jobs in other places.
The one thing you would say is that is a very small sample to go off.
It's a very small sample to go off to give a guy a top championship job
Yeah,
too.
and maybe after missing out on the Swedish guy, can't remember his name. We just,
Hellberg,
but maybe the panic's a bit Swansea. I don't know.
possibly. I can't see it though, to be honest with you.
No, you wouldn't
It's
think
it's a
so.
difficult one. It's a difficult one. Anyway, we'll continue on because we've still got one more managerial to talk about in the champ, and then I think we'll just round
Go
up
on,
any other business.
I'll let you rattle through some of the managerial changes if you want.
We'll go through them as we get to them.
Right.
The Norwich job went to Philip Clement, the
We
former
do know
Rangers
a lot
manager.
about from
We
Rangers.
do know a lot about. Yeah, we know enough about him to at least say that he's a pretty decent manager. I've just seen what his win percentage is for Rangers. It's very good actually.
No, I thought he was a good manager. Yeah,
63.95 is decent.
yeah.
We know a lot about him as Rangers manager, previously Bruges manager, also Monaco, Genk. He should, from what we know of him, he should be a success. And I feel like it is a pretty big deal to bring him in.
Yeah, you look at something I didn't realise he managed Monaco and Genk, so they're big clubs to manage as well as Rangers. So yeah, it's quite a cue that for Norwich, given
Yeah,
their
obviously,
position.
as a manager, won the Belgian Pro League once with Genk and twice. In fact, he actually won the Belgian Pro League 3 years in a row with Genk in 1819 and then with Club Brugge in 1920 and
Yeah.
2021.
So he's
Also with
managed some big clubs.
the Belgian Super Cup in 2021 and the Scottish League Cup in 2003 2023-24. Christ.
But
So he's a guy that can win.
he's got pedigree, you'd say.
Yeah, that the thing about Norwich for me is that is a squad that over the past couple of years has been gutted of a lot of its quality. Besides Josh Sargent, who is one of the best strikers in the league,
I don't know how he is still there.
I don't really know either. I think it's quite bizarre
I
that he
think it,
stayed. But then again, I'm not being disrespectful to good old Josh, but I imagine he's on a fair whack.
yeah,
So
and he's been loyal, to be fair to him. You know, we have a pop of players for not being loyal, but there you go.
listen, like that, he absolutely deserves a bigger move. Maybe one day he'll make it. But
Or
he's at sort
maybe
of
Clement will get Norwich firing again.
they're in a very precarious position, Norwich.
That's
Nine
why I'm
points
surprised he's taking the job.
9 points from the games they've played so far, and obviously sacking Liam Manning. Liam Manning just didn't work out whatsoever, did it? It was
No.
just a complete and it's one of the biggest disaster jobs ever. I Will Steele, you can say okay, not great, but his stats were still good, and they did win games, and they were unlucky. Watching Norwich play was absolutely abhorrent. It was so bad, um, and that's one of those things where what again when we're saying about Rob Edwards, what is somebody with the standing of Philip Clement? What is his remit?
Well, well,
Because they're adrift.
you
They're
could
adrift.
say that this is the highest level. All due respect to him, you could say this is the highest standard of football that is managed at.
I am gonna disagree because he managed Monaco.
Oh right, sorry, right, but yeah, I forgot about that. But second, but the French league and the Championship aren't that much. Apart from the top teams, they're probably not that
No,
much.
but obviously he's that Monaco is one of that top five
Of
teams.
course. So yeah, you're probably right. But he's in a big league in England where if you get it right, there's more money in English leagues in general. Um, and maybe he feels it's early enough in the season that he can turn it around.
One of the things I always liked about Norwich that's definitely been stripped away from them in recent years is similarly to Leeds who are in the Premier League now, and Burnley have had the same squad for a few years now. Is it's mostly the same guys that they were in the Championship with Cantwell and Aarons and Lewis and Ben Gibson at the back and Grant Hanley, and they were up and down and up and down, and those
Cool.
and those guys have left now. Like Lewis is at Preston and Gibson's at Stoke and Hanley's at Hibs, and that team is not. Cantwell's obviously captain at Blackburn. So that team is not the same anymore. It's definitely a much weaker side than Norwich have had for a very long time.
And change isn't a bad thing if you're bringing in, because you could argue that the level of players they had, they were always going to be a yo-yo club. But the issue is they've gone backwards.
Yeah, but like you
So
said, the thing is
there's
with the
nothing
yo-yo, it
wrong.
always comes back.
There's nothing wrong with progressing as long as you can progress slightly forward and build. But they've gone backwards.
Yeah. I think again, if we look at Norwich now, this is obviously after the midweek games. Sheffield United must have won because they're out of the relegation zone now at Oxford's expense. Um, so Norwich are 6 points adrift, which
Yeah,
is not impossible, especially when the teams at the bottom, towards the bottom, there, specifically the teams in the bottom three, Oxford, Norwich, and Sheffield Wednesday, are I think are absolutely the three worst teams by a mile.
yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make for great reading.
No, no. Just a word on Sheffield. United, and I know we'll come on to Chris Wilder going back. Do you think they could still get in the playoffs if he gets them going?
How many points off are they? Let's see. They are 11 points off Preston in sixth.
So it's
I
possible.
liked what I saw against Sheffield Wednesday. I think that he's got a lot of work to do because even though that is again mostly the team that he had, uh, it's low on confidence, and
Yeah,
we continue.
Ruben Sellers, who I liked, didn't really work out, did he?
Yeah, I think it's a real shame because similarly we were talking about um, we were talking about Rob Edwards. I think that was kind of seen as a job where Ruben Sayers could not fail. Like that's how strong that squad is and how good of a coach he proved he was. I don't think we'll see him in the Premier League, sorry, in the EFL for a while. And when we do, I don't think it's a league, it's a championship job.
No,
I think
no,
it's League One for sure.
yeah.
Which is a big shame. A quick word on the recently relegated Premier League teams: Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich. Least impressed with, well, to be honest, neither of the three of them have been that great. And like Ipswich are in the playoffs currently, but they've not exactly set the world alight.
No, but they
Uh,
did have a Titanic rise, so maybe they've just evened off a little bit.
Yeah, I think obviously Southampton will, like we said, will still didn't work out. Thunder Eckhart, by the way, it's an absolutely incredible.
Give him the job. Give him the job. Because he's worked with the under 21s, which means he's in tune with that Southampton philosophy of bringing youngsters through, which is good. It's what Southampton are known for. A bit like Crewe, actually, George, but at a higher level, maybe. You know, they're one of those clubs, aren't they, that bring players through
Well, if
Southampton?
if you name the names, like it's incredible. Walcott, Bale, Dyer,
Yeah. Alan
Ward-Prowse,
Shearer.
Shaw, Shearer, of course. Letizier obviously played for Southampton his whole career. So he
Yeah.
come through. Um, Chambers, I think I already said him. Oxlade Chamberlain.
Dylan. Yeah.
Uh,
Even later, you're looking at Tyler Dibling.
yeah, that was that's another one. I mean, Lalana. There's absolutely loads of them.
There's rumours. Have you seen the rumour about Ward Prowse maybe going back?
No, but I think he is way too good to be in the championship. But then
I think
again,
his
I think
legs have gone.
I just don't. Again, this is veering onto Premier League chat, but I genuinely don't know what James Ward-Prowse has done to offend Nuno so much that he just doesn't get picked anymore.
Well, Thingy didn't pick him, did he? What was it called? Logotegui.
I think he did, didn't he?
No, Graham Potter did.
Oh,
Look,
Graham.
look,
Yeah, but
look,
then
look.
obviously he was signed on loan to Forest.
I
I
never
don't
really
think that
played.
was by Nuno. I don't think Nuno signed him to Forest, did he?
Yeah, yeah.
But then he didn't play him at all.
No, because he didn't have legs.
Or he hardly played him. So it's like it's really strange. But um obviously they re-signed. We've talked about Nzonzi going back to Stoke. Southampton re-signed Oriol Romeu, which I really liked as well.
Well, I didn't know he'd gone back.
Yeah, have you not seen that?
No,
So good in
no.
that, isn't it?
So
I'm all
actually,
about that though.
he was class when they had that top team. he was up with with the likes of Schneiderlin, Graziano Pella, Lovren, that Van Dijk. He was always in the team.
Yeah,
Um,
he was
and then
brilliant for them, Romeo.
brilliant defensive midfielder. A
Um,
good former Chelsea man as well.
yeah. So I think Southampton. I would I would have Eckhart purely because he seems to have a really good rapport. I do think it is risky. I actually felt like their best bet or the right choice for them obviously withdrew because he used to play for Portsmouth. That's Gary O'Neill. Um, there was lots of because the fans obviously kicked off because they didn't want a former Pompey man. I wouldn't be that adverse to Russell Martin going back there,
No,
but
no, no,
but
no.
I feel
Why
like
not give
his.
it to this guy? He's done nothing wrong. And
No,
what
I'm saying give it to him, but I'm
the,
saying that
the
I think
16th
it's
in
a
the
bit.
table, they've got or whatever they are, they've got nothing to lose.
I do think it's risky. It's what I would do. That's. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I know it's a bit sort of.
Or keep him as temporary till Christmas and then review it then.
Yeah, I also heard somebody say maybe even if they do bring a new manager in, still keep him around as part of the coaching staff.
Yeah, you know what I'd do, John? I'd keep him on till Christmas and see how the results are.
But I
And
do
if,
wonder whether he was a kind of a, a Ruben Sayes type who was brought in supposedly to assist Ralph Hasenhüttl, and then as soon as Ralph Hasenhüttl gets the sack, he's in the job.
but you
So I
can't
don't know.
argue
I
with
wouldn't.
his record then.
But then again, he was only the under 21s manager. He wasn't exactly like an assistant coach or
No, yeah.
so. Yeah, it's interesting that. Quick word on
Why
Leicester.
rush? They don't need to rush either. They're in good form.
Quick
Reassess
word.
it.
Quick word on Leicester, and then I think we'll just round up as quickly as we can the
Yeah.
rest of the championship or anything else that we want to mention. What do we think about Leicester? I think they're incredibly poor.
I've not watched an awful lot of them, but the highlights I have watched, they've looked not looked great. I mean, another club that we've just spoken about, Southampton, and the brilliant few sides they had and replaced them. I know they sold a lot of the players, but and Leicester the same. They had the 15-16 winning team, and then rebuilt again.
A club
And
that I feel really bad for, really, because I think, like, obviously we know. I know a few Leicester fans, but we both know mutually a Leicester fan, and he completely blames the ownership group. Uh, uh, a poor choice of managerial recruitment in
I
Marty
think
Cifuentes.
I think that's easy to do, though. I think you look at Leicester's owners; people are very quick to forget, and forget as well that during COVID, their company really suffered, King Power,
Yeah,
because
but to save King Power, they took money out of the club. Like they absolutely gutted money out of the club.
yeah, but then the club won. Well, I don't know. They were in a bit.
And you can't. The problem is you can't do that when you're in the championship because you're quite a lucky guy or quite a lucky owner. Sorry, if you're there's only half of the championship teams make a profit, and that's the big ones, or one like Wrexham that have got an owner behind them that bloody well,
And
bank.
Birmingham.
Yeah, I don't even know how Birmingham do nowadays because there's obviously still quite a lot of bad blood between what was the original the first ownership. So I don't even know whether Birmingham would be in that position now. I mean, I know they are a very
He's not the owner anymore, though, is he?
no, but I think it left a sour taste in the mouth for for a while.
Yeah.
That
I just look at it and I look at that. You got to be very careful as fans because they have been brilliant owners for Leicester City. They really have, and I think you've got to allow them to try and rebuild it. They were in dire straits. I agree. I'm not in favour of taking money out of the club at all, but they were in dire straits. So I think
I think it's quite easy if you're not a Leicester fan to say that's a great thing, but like, and it's different levels. But imagine if Charles Grant was taking money out of the Alex. Do you know what I mean? It's
I can't believe we're having this conversation about owners that we revered.
yeah,
And
but I think at the same time, like it comes from the point where you're in a situation where you know how well that club was run, like we said, and then it's gone to where it is, where Leicester, half of Leicester's team are within the top five most, within the top five highest paid in the champ, and that's not on. Like Patson, I think Patson Daka is the highest paid player in the championship on 80 grand a week, and he scored one goal in 18 months, and that
well,
was yesterday.
two now.
So it's not at all
No, I'm not.
acceptable.
I'm not saying they've got everything right. I just think they've been such special owners, and because their products in COVID were duty free products, and they couldn't. That's what King Power did do at airports, and for 18 months there was none of that. So yeah, so
The thing
I think
is,
it's
I'm
difficult.
looking at it from a purely football point of view, right? With the stadium they've got and the facilities they've got and they pay for and what have you, if they're not winning and bringing fans in and doing well and they're not challenging for the Premier League, that club will go under quick
They're not
because
challenging to get in the Premier League. You mean?
yeah, they're not challenging to get into the Premier League.
But I think with Leicester, there almost has to be a reset button hit from the owners and from fans, and go again. And yeah, maybe that'll come. But I agree, the recruitment's been poor. They've struggled to replace the second wave of great players they had. Um, Interestingly enough, for Leicester fans, Vardy's doing quite well at Cremonese.
Yeah, and I was gonna say somebody that played for Leicester, but I don't think he did. Sarmiento, where was he? Brighton and
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Where's
Yeah,
he
he
at
scored
now?
his. He's at Cremonense.
Who is he?
He scored his first goal, didn't he, the other day, Vardy?
He's scored more than one now. He's scored three.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
play to him. Go on, Vards, lad.
I keep watching him play, but yeah, I keep my eye on their score just for Barnes. But yeah, I think a reset button at Leicester. But yeah, carry on. They're not great from
I
Fuentes.
I think it's a shame as well because I've spent a lot of time around the area. Been to the stadium multiple times, spoke to club staff, the club shops and stuff, and it is a really loved club and a club that does a lot for its community, and it concerns me that I think they're not in a great place.
Yeah, the owners have done a lot, but hopefully they can pull it back. Because I think they're good people. I don't think anybody disputes that. They just need to fight through it, and fans need to stick with them. for sure. But with success comes the price of expectation. Yeah. Anyway, carry on, buddy.
And only a couple more things. Hull have been very interesting this season, as
Much
have
better than last season.
Preston in a playoff place. Bristol City, we mentioned, doing a very good job there. Gerhard Struber wasn't very sure how well he would do after a couple of years in the MLS.
Oh, that must be him. Is he? Is he the American guy?
He's the guy that got punched by Joe Barton.
Is he American though?
He's Austrian.
Oh right, not him.
He's one of the line of really good managers that went to Barnsley, but he was the one that went to the MLS.
Oh right.
He's the one that got knocked out by Joe Barton in the tunnel.
Oh yeah, yeah. What a surprise.
Because I think after him they had it. That was when they got Ishmael, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And
Ugh.
obviously, like what he did there was amazing, and then he's not
No,
quite done.
no. He's a terrible manager.
Terrible is incorrect. I think it's a case of
Trust
taking.
me. As Roy
Although
Keane would say.
I don't think the West might. I was going to say I don't think the West Brom job was a bad job, but nobody's really done that well with the West Brom job, have they, since they got relegated?
But
Although Carlos
but
Corberán did all right.
but I would say, I would say my as Roy Keane would say, my eyes don't lie to me, and he's a man out of his depth. I can't stand him. Not him, but his football.
It's I also want to talk about Preston doing very well under Paul Heckingbottom, which I like
Well,
because I like him.
soft spot
Um,
for Preston, of course.
well, you've been to the games before as well, right?
Yeah, I went to one. Yeah, deep down.
Yeah. Obviously, you spent a good few years in Preston, and we've had a good couple of nights out there, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the years.
Might be
Uh,
going back next week, actually.
oh really?
Yeah, to go and see the third year show, but we'll see.
Gonna go and have a couple of jars in the ships and giggles.
Chips and giggles.
Oh
If you want to go to Preston, visit Avon and Park. Beautiful. You never went there, did you, George?
no, you only took me to good drinking places like the
Absolutely.
Guild. Are they called the Guild? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that place where we had we're going off track here, but that place where we had fireball shots,
Where did
the
we all...
Northern Way.
Oh, yeah, the Northern Way. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sam was that desperate to say goodbye to us that he made us miss a train.
Yeah, yes. And trust me, I nearly died because Jordan nearly killed me.
Oh, there was gonna be a murder that day. There really was. Let me tell you,
Oh
it
no,
was.
it was probably Mummy's fault for the shop.
Well, actually, yeah, that is a fair point. We had 8 minutes to left till the train goes, and Robbie says, "Oh no, it'll be all right. I'll just nip in here."
And get a
Um,
sandwich.
and then he ended up going one way, and we ended up going the other, and we all missed the train. Um, so there you go. But yeah,
Oh, for the team.
Preston doing a great job. Hard-working players, like you said about when we talk about Burnley. Millwall, kind of the same story. Hard-working, doing well in the playoffs. We did mention earlier on about Javi Gracia back at Watford. Like it, seems to be doing okay. Hope they give him some time because I personally think he was one of the better ones over the Pozzo era.
Yeah, him and Sanchez Flores.
Yeah. What happened? He was last time I checked, he was Sevilla manager. Kike.
Because he went back to Watford, didn't
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. I
he?
think
That
they were
was
in
the
the
same as that was when they started with Javi Gracia, then got rid of him and had Santos Flores, I think, from what I remember. Anyway, carry on.
Man, I cannot remember. I can't remember any of that era. To be fair,
It's because they've
it's
had so many managers.
so many managers, and some of them have done well, and others haven't. Um, last thing I want to say: Sheffield Wednesday. John Siri is gone. Hallelujah. Um,
Yeah. A
yeah,
big football club as well.
big football club, a lot of history, and I should think they're on the up now. I can't see it getting any worse than good old Dafong or whatever he was bloody well called. It was Dafong, wasn't it? Dafong Chansiri.
So they haven't got any, and they haven't got new owners yet, then.
No, the deadline for a preferred buyer is um, early December.
Right. Well,
So
I think all fans that I've listened to have said we don't care what league we're playing in as long as we got our football club.
yeah, we've seen so many fall by the wayside that it's important that there are ones that can stay around no matter what.
Especially big ones like Sheffield Wednesday. It'd be a travesty. What do you think, George? Just quickly then, the owners and proper persons test. Do you think it needs revising? We've seen owners come in and nearly or destroy football clubs. Seems that more and more often as foreign investment has come in,
I think
um,
it's pretty
people that
scary
don't
that
understand the league.
I think it's pretty scary that people that seem to have absolutely no knowledge about the English football system and how much it means to the English culture are allowed to just come in and destroy clubs.
And also,
Um,
just failing on the owners and proper persons test because it's clearly not very proper, is it?
well, I don't. I that's what I mean. I don't understand what what the criterias are when things can go as badly as they have done at places like Bury
Mac,
and obviously Sheffield Wednesday now
Macclesfield.
Macclesfield. I mean the Bury guy was ridiculous, wasn't he? I'm just thinking back to that time and like,
What was his name? Gibson, wasn't it?
no, that's the Middlesbrough
Oh
guy, isn't
no,
it? Gibson.
Mel
No, that's
something.
the Derby fella, Mel Morris.
Oh, what was he called? I can't remember.
They're doing very well, by the way. Let's just give them a quick shout out. Derby, John Eustace is class.
Yeah, no, he's always been good.
So, shall we move on to
Yeah,
a very quick whistle stop tour through League One
go
and
on,
League Two?
I'll let you blast it.
Couple of things to mention, as we said, Luke Williams in at Peterborough, great appointment, seems to be doing very well. Liam Richardson, a name we haven't heard for a while, in at Reading. Liam Richardson, you might remember as the Wigan manager a couple of years ago when they got into the Championship again. Did very well with a young squad, which kind of is what the remit is here. Teams that we need to talk about, absolutely, in terms of good jobs and bad jobs. Alex Ravel at Stevenage, who are top of the table after midweek action. Incredible work for a guy that I don't think they really wanted when he first came in. Uh, Similarly, Graham Alexander at Bradford, Michael Scabala at Lincoln, incredible jobs
Yeah,
being done
Bradford
there,
have done unbelievable.
both in the playoffs. Um, Brian Barry Murphy at Cardiff, they're in second place. Really good job being done there. I did think, and I still do, that the team in seventh and eighth, Luton and Huddersfield, both with rookie, young-ish managers, well, young in one case and ish in another, with Jack Wilshere at Luton and Lee Grant at Huddersfield, doing okay but not great. I sometimes think that part of the reason, and we've alluded to it a lot, part of the reason these people are expected to do so well is just because they are a name that you will recognise and that the
Yeah.
average man on the street will recognise, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be any good as a manager at all.
Yeah.
And I think that football fans, by and large, do take that for granted. That just because you are somebody who has a reputation, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be an instant success straight away.
Although I don't know
Nor,
about Lee Grant, but I know Jack Wilson's got a very good pedigree.
yeah, Lee Grant as well, actually, because he was supposed to be one of the top tactical guys at Ipswich with McKenna. So um, they've both got great pedigree, but it's not. It's just a bit strange what's going on there. In ninth, Wimbledon, got to mention them. Johnny Jackson continues to do a fantastic job. Just underneath them in 11th. We're not going through the table, it's just how this is shaping up. When Mike Duff was brought in to replace Mike Dodds, I said it was a good appointment. So far, they're in 11th. They're 4 points off the playoffs. They're pretty good. They're okay. Again, because of their flirtations with the championship, they have sort of become a big team at this level, despite the fact that they don't really have that great resources. So
Who are we
maybe
on about now? Sorry. As
Wycombe
well.
Wanderers.
Right.
Um, so that's one to keep an eye on for sure. Gary Bowyer continues to do a great job at Burton Albion. They're in 14th, which is incredible again. Um, Quite the drop off and one of the disappointments for the season for me in Leighton Orient. Obviously, they were beaten playoff finalists, um, and they're in 16th. They've lost a lot of their good players, um, and it's just not seemed to work at all for them, which doesn't quite make that much sense, to be honest with you. I can't. That's one I can't put my
Is
finger on.
Beckles still there?
Is who?
Omar Beckles.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah.
Good old Bexy.
And then in the relegation zone, we've got Peterborough, who I think will be fine now. They've got Luke Williams. Blackpool, who have started decently since they brought Ian Evatt in, which is great because it's two of the ex Premier League team as manager and assistant in
I was going
centre
to say,
half Ian Evatt and left back Stephen Craney. So we
oh,
love
Craney.
that.
Yeah.
Really hope that Tom Cleverley can turn around things at Plymouth, and really hope that Darren Moore can turn things around at Port Vale, even though it is Port
What?
Vale.
What? Whoa. Whoa.
No, I
Oh,
do. I do.
oh,
It's an
oh,
English
no,
manager.
no, 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 I'm not. I'm over game off. Blacklist him. No,
Send the
no.
dirty get off. Oh
No,
dear.
no, I can't. You want Vale to succeed.
No, not
Just
what
to
I said.
keep Darren Moore in
I
the
want him
job.
to succeed. I don't want Vale to succeed.
But the two things go bloody hand in hand.
I wouldn't say that if my life depended on it.
But the two things go hand in hand.
Uh, they could survive and he could get another job and then get relegated the season after.
Oh, fuck that. Down the Vale.
Right, come
You've
on.
got, no, you've gone. I'll tell you what, we're going to have a scrap later.
we,
Yeah,
can,
I don't
we
care
can have
what
one.
you
You'll see how that works out. We can have one. We can have one right now.
that is
Um,
absolutely. I'm waiting till I tell Robbie and all that. When we don't go to Alex, I'll tell him exactly what you just said.
you tell him. You tell him. I don't give a shit about adults. What are you gonna do? Smack my ass?
It's absolutely, that is a sin. I'm ashamed anyway. Come on.
Right, come on. We're nearly there now. League
That
Two
is
is incredibly tight.
fucking unbelievable.
There are there is 8 points separating first and 14th.
I know
Walsall
it's an
in first.
incredible league.
Walsall in first on 32. Swindon in second on 31. Bromley in third. Well, they're doing bloody hell with 30. MK Dons with 29. Notts County with 28. With Chesterfield with 28 as well. Gillingham and Crewe with 27.
Great.
Grimsby, Cambridge, Fleetwood, and Salford with 26. And then Colchester and Barnet with 24.
Shocking.
Let's get the big news out of the way. The bottom of the Football League, Newport sacked David Hughes after a incredibly bad time. They brought in Christian Fuchs, the Premier League winning left back, Austrian, sorry, not Australian, international. What's his coaching pedigree? Great question.
And
Part
he
of the
thinks plays it behind Tommy and Vardy. It's
part
11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Fill the front page, fill the back page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
God, I wish Will had a mute button for you. Fuck it now. Um, what, what's his coaching pedigree? Well, good question that you asked there. He is an assistant coach. He was an assistant coach at Charlotte FC.
Didn't he play
That's
for them as well?
Yes, he did. That's literally it. And who is Charlotte FC's manager?
No idea.
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith.
And who is their captain?
Don't know.
Ashley Westwood.
So Westwood.
And who
Yeah,
else is in that team?
no idea.
Your shit. Wilfred Zaha.
Of course he is. Yeah, he's on loan in Ethan Galatasaray.
Correct. I saw the other day that Dan Adji scored a hat trick against Galatasaray.
Who's Dan actually playing for now?
Or some team in the Turkish Prem.
He's a good player, he is.
Maybe he didn't score a hat trick against Galatasaray. What did he do? He said he's only got one goal. That can't be right. Anyway, forget that. Doesn't matter. So
You want
Christian
Darren Moore
Fuchs's
to be
Christian Fuchs's only coaching pedigree is assistant manager to Dean Smith at Charlotte. Absolutely no idea how this is going to go. Risky for
in.
Fuchs. I must admit, I enjoy it. I think it's interesting. I think it's different. I don't like seeing ex pros take jobs that are probably going to get them the sack.
But if he
Just
does
putting it out
well,
there.
maybe a future Leicester manager.
Listen, if he does well, bollocks to everything I've just said. He's great. But I just feel a bit conflicted about
Yeah, says the
the.
man and I've got nothing against Darren Moore, but says the man who wants
Oh, look, he's at it again. He's at it again. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That Newport
call
squad is not
yourself a
great.
true fan. Okay.
That Newport squad is not great. It's got a couple of players that we're quite aware of. Obviously, it's where we bought Dimitri from.
Courtney
Courtney Baker
Baker
Richardson is
Richardson.
there. Yeah, one of the poorest strikers ever.
He
Um,
wasn't that bad.
he was shit.
He wasn't
Uh,
that bad. Mickey's not been shit, has he? Mickey's a hero.
no, he's an absolute god, that man. Remember when they used to say about Remember when they used to say about Wayne Rooney and David Beckham? I'd let you shag me wife. I think Mickey could. Well, I could at least have a look, I suppose.
when I went to when I went to watch us because I went away to Oldham and
shithole, isn't it? It's
to
a
watch
shithole on the ground.
we were all singing that, and then my dad reminded me that I've got family in Oldham. So yeah. Anyway, I basically stayed to the end. It finished. It finished in a draw, a 0-0 draw. But I clapped. I clapped. Mickey came round to the away end and clapped him, and he actually clapped back to me and put his thumb up. So
He's a hero. He's such a god. I fucking love Mickey Dimitri. So let's just
I'm
continue
amazed.
on.
Just to finish off, I'm amazed in his career. I know he's older now, played at a higher level because I think or maybe he's a player that's got better with age, but he could have played at a higher level.
I think it's one of them. Maybe he just matured. Maybe he matured late.
Yeah, class
Um.
legend. Go
So
on.
let's talk about the Alex then while we're here. How do you feel about the season that they've had?
Very up and down. Obviously, we started with 4 wins in a row in the league,
Some of
and
the best football I've ever seen us play, by the way.
well,
Ever.
I went to the last game of those four and another one at home, but I bring it up for a reason that I went to Fleetwood away when we
Yeah, saw
won
you on the telly.
4-1, and we were magnificent. It made me fall in love with away, following the Alex away, but also the performance. We destroyed them.
That probably was the best of the lot, wasn't it? That.
And then, of course, the wheels fell off a little bit, and we were in and out. Then after that, we still are a bit in and out. So it's a good job we had such a good start, because if we hadn't, then we'd probably be in about 18th place. But we're still right in the mix. Everybody seems to be beating everyone at the minute, so nobody's really getting away. Um, it's just I watch us sometimes, Jordan. I've been to probably more games than you this season, which is saying
Yeah,
something. And I
that's
watch
true.
us, and some games we're passing the ball really well and finding the space and passing and moving and playing the opposition off the park. But then I think we played, it might have been Harrogate, and we maybe it wasn't Harrogate, but we played one game I went to
Well, we
see.
battered them.
No,
I was at that
no,
game.
there was a game earlier in the season where the team we were playing played a long ball, and but they had big centre halves and tall players, and rather than trying to pass and move the ball, we just kept hitting the ball long, and their centre halves picked it up, and we ended up losing because of our tactics. So sometimes we play scintillating football when we're confident, but we seem to then go away from that. I don't mind if we lose playing like that, but trying to play the right way. But at times we try and beat the opposition at the opposition's own game, and it doesn't
Yeah,
work. The only thing I would say is we do have a very young side, so
and
it's not.
I hate this saying, but we do have to start playing the Crew way.
Yeah, and
I
we
hate
can
when people
do it.
say the
It's
such and
so,
such way, but the Crew way is to play the ball around the floor, and
and
we
we
can
can
do that
do it.
well.
We have done it under Lee Bell brilliantly, but we seem to play 2 or 3 games like that, get some good results. And then it's like, okay, we lose a few games, no problem. Everybody loses games. But we go away from that identity. But Lee Bell, I mean, it's a big season for him. We need to get in the playoffs. A big fan of Belly. obviously played for the Alex, came to the youth
Yeah,
system.
he's got a list. The thing that's always going to help Lee Bell is he's got Alex in the blood.
Yeah, he's done a decent job. He has, but we need to get back into those playoffs at least.
And I think people need to remember as well that he did turn down the Burton job to stay with us.
Yeah. I
People
think
forget that.
I know, and I think playoffs are a minimum, but it's a very tight league.
Yeah,
Um,
I still I don't think the rest of the league will see it like this, but I do see us as a big club for League Two. But I don't think the rest of the league or even the rest of
even
our fan bases. I'm talking about history. I'm talking about the fact that we spent a good few years in the Championship, quite a lot of time in League One as well. Like,
yeah, and we haven't got the biggest budget. Apparently, we got one of the lowest budgets
well,
in
that's why
the
we're not
league.
seen as a big club. That's
Which I
why,
was
because
surprised. I thought we would have one of the bigger budgets. I know we spend a lot on homegrown players, but yeah, but we do that really well. And
it's not us though, is it? It's not us to go out and chuck money at it. It's never been us.
no, it's bringing them from within.
Even you think about like the '90s when we brought in, when we had like Lennon and Savage and guys like Craig Hignett. We bringing them in from like non-league, non-league or like academies.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we've always done. The first player that we paid a fee for years was Agi, and I remember it being an absolutely massive thing. We talked about Agi earlier. I remember it being a massive thing within the fan base that we'd paid a fee for a player.
well, a substantial fee. Yeah.
And I think it was also the fact that like there was a lot of, well, you missed that era, but there was a lot of bad blood between us and Oxford as well because of some stuff that went on during the COVID time. But we won't go into that because we've been talking enough about Crewe as it is. I think we are where we should be. We should be a playoff chasing team.
We have to get in the playoffs for me.
Realistically, we should be very firmly within those playoffs. We're not.
No, but the league's
It
tight.
is it is not a stronger squad than we've had.
It
The
is
strongest,
stronger than last year's.
yeah, but that's only because a lot of the fringe players have stepped up. I think there's still a lot of weakness when you get past that 11.
Yeah.
Like some,
What's the latest on Shiloh, by the way? Do we
no
know?
idea. I felt really happy for Omar Bogle doing so well, and then he went and got injured as well. By the way, how gutting's that?
How long's he injured for?
I don't know, but he scored two absolute screamers against Burton, didn't he? In the a free kick and a goal from outside the box in the pizza trophy,
Yeah.
which is not even called that anymore, but that's what I'm calling it.
It was called the Papa John's, wasn't it? And then it was
Yeah, it's
and
called the Virtue Trophy now.
because it was called the not BMW,
LDV.
Bristol Street Motors.
Well, obviously we won it. We won it when it was the Johnston's Paint Trophy.
Yeah, that's what it was for years, wasn't it, Johnson's?
Before I was a Crew fan, before I got into football, was two of the best years we've ever had when we went to Wembley
Nick
twice in
Powell.
2 years and won both times.
Yeah.
Although I did go to my first game that season. That's when we had it was against Portsmouth. Patrick Adjemang scored for them, and Byron Moore scored for us. Can't remember who scored the winner for Pompey.
I remember him. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Pompey, what's happened to Tommy Lowry?
He's at Kilmarnock
Interesting.
with Zach Williams and Max Stryek.
Oh, Max. No, he is a hero. I know he only had 6 months, but What I love Struijk.
We need to bring it back in because we are going way off piste here. The last thing I want to say before we do a little bit of Premier League chat, and it will be a little bit because we've been talking for ages. Um, Warsaw, is this the year?
Have they got the same manager as last year?
Yeah,
So interesting, because I'm sure as we get to around Christmas, I suppose they haven't got a big lead, but if they're still leading the table around Christmas, early January, and it falls apart like it did last year, that'll start to play on their minds, I'm sure.
yeah. Two more things, very quick. Ian Holloway continuing to do a good job at Swindon. We love to see it.
I love it.
And David Artell, definitely one of the best managers in the league, struggling with consistency for Grimsby at the moment. And that concludes
Just quickly, what's happening with Paul Warren at the minute?
MK Dons, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's doing well, isn't he?
The playoffs, aren't they? Spent a lot of money though. They're talking about teams that have got to go up. They've got to go up.
Huh? And Mickey turned them down. Get it?
$3,000 a week as well. Three
What
grand a
was
week, and he'd rather
it?
stay with us.
What was it? What was he? What's he on it? A crew?
Not $3,000 a week. It's grand and a half, and he.
But good on him. Love him.
Yeah,
Anyway,
me too.
so
Me too. Right, Premier League chat. How do you want to do this?
let's just run through the scores.
Right,
And
I will do that because it'll be nice and quick. So let me just get the scores up because we've been talking and talking and talking for ages there, haven't we? Really?
I can't wait to watch Crystal Palace tomorrow night.
Who are they against?
Strasbourg. Liam
Oh,
Racine.
I might have to watch that. I definitely might have to watch that. Right. Okay, so your Premier League results are Burnley 0, Chelsea 2, goals from Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernandez, who I had in my fantasy team. So, yes, we love that.
Where was Caicedo? I had him in and they didn't bloody play.
He was on the bench and he didn't come on.
No.
To be
Oh,
fair,
my.
I think he was replaced by. I think Andre Santos played in place of him. Yeah, he did. And Andre Santos was fucking unreal. He had an amazing game,
Oh, I
Santos.
can't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Um,
And I had João Pedro as my triple cut.
so I've triple captained Haaland this week as well. I've
Oh,
gone for it. I've gone for it. We'll talk about that a bit off air. I would like to do a weekly sort of FPL update with these shows, but when we're
yeah.
back to our normal programming next week, that's probably something we'll do. So yeah, West Ham took a 2-0 lead at Bournemouth thanks to 2 goals to Callum Wilson before Marcus Tavernier and S2E09 on his first start for quite a few months because he broke his leg, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And it's Tavernier, not.
yes, that's a big because that's been a big thing recently, haven't it? I read that about it. They were moaning about how you say his name.
How do
Yeah,
you say
I think it is Tavernier.
it? Yeah.
But that obviously that's not the way like it reads. Anyway, carrying on. Brentford went a goal up thanks to a penalty from Igor Thiago, who is also now in my fantasy team
Mm.
because he's got something like 6 goals in 7 games. It was between him and Danny Welbeck to get in my team. He equalised for Brighton before Joel Hinchelwood. It's not
Jack.
Joel, it's Jack. Jack Hinchelwood, should I say, got the winner for Brighton. And I like Jack Hinchelwood. I think he
Yeah.
should play more.
And
Um,
he has been injured, to be fair.
He's a fourth generation player as well, isn't he?
for Brighton. Yeah, and
Love that.
he's a bit versatile as well, can play midfield, full back. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea that you can just play anywhere. That's a bit of me. That they're doing incredibly well, Brighton, by the way, and Brentford. I can't believe that I said I thought they were going to get relegated because they still might, but I don't think it's going to happen. To be honest, you never
Fair
know.
play to
But
Keith Andrews.
yeah, listen, I don't mind eating humble pie when they're doing so well. Moving on, Fulham finally got themselves a victory thanks to Raul Jimenez's late winner against Sunderland. Nottingham Forest shocked Anfield 3-0 thanks to goals from Murillo, Savona, and Gibbs White. And Rob Edwards' homecoming was dampened by Crystal Palace, Daniel Munoz, and Jeremy Pino with
What
the
a good goal
goals.
that was. I like Pino. He's not scored many goals, but he's played very well when I've
Yeah,
watched.
I think he come out and said that he's really struggled to adapt to the English game, hasn't he?
I'm surprised because he's actually played quite well. It's not
Yeah,
like he's
but
not been playing well.
let's face it, when you're in like where's he from, Villarreal, that's like quite a nice area of Spain, and you have to come to fucking well, South London's all right, but it's still rainy and the weather's shite. I can understand this
But
problem.
Oliver Glasner's still doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, incredible. Top four, aren't they, Palace at the minute?
Fifth.
Fifth, and Brighton in sixth. Incredible.
Yeah, and
Incredible by
Sunderland
Betis.
in seventh.
Yeah, incredible, incredible. Newcastle beats Man City 2-1. Two goals from Harvey Barnes and a goal from Ruben Diaz, which saved you some points in
Yeah,
FPL because you had
yeah.
him.
'Cause
Um,
I had a pretty shit week. But
incredible from,
um,
well, the triple captaining of João Pedro is the worst one. Because the triple captain can get you loads of points if you play it right.
well, I just thought Burnley, he'll get me some goals, but
He was poor as well. He was terrible. He hardly touched the ball.
yeah, well,
Um,
I've had
but
some
yeah,
very good weeks, so I can't really
what
blame it. And
what
I'm
a
still
result for
top.
Newcastle. Love that for them.
It's a great
Uh,
league as well this year.
yeah, but I think it continues to be, doesn't it? I think the league gets stronger and stronger, which is why obviously we were worried about Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland, but they, granted, Leeds and Burnley haven't exactly set the league alight, but they've held their own
Yeah,
in games. So at the moment, I'm not as worried as, like, I'm not being funny. Within sort of at this point of the season, last season, we basically already knew that all three teams were going down. I
yeah.
don't feel that way currently. So um, to finish off, we've got a Monday game as well, but to finish off. For the Sunday games, we've got Leeds, thanks to Lucas Metcher, before
You cut
Morgan
out
Rogers
there,
took the
mate.
bull by the horns,
You cut
quite
out.
literally.
You cut out.
And
You might want to just say the teams again because you cut out.
oh, did I?
Yeah.
Leeds 1-0 up at Villa, thanks to Lucas Nemecha, before Morgan Rogers took the ball by the horns and scored both goals to give Villa the lead. Question for you, and the win as well, by the way. Question for you: Morgan Rogers' free kick, good free kick or keeper? What's he doing?
A bit of both. I mean, you've still got to hit the target, but Lucas Perry's positioning wasn't great, so a bit of both for me.
Yeah, I agree. And then our final Sunday game was the North London derby. Trossard with one, Eze with a hat trick after being rejected by Arsenal, signing for QPR, making his way through back to Arsenal
And
after,
nearly signing for Spurs.
as I was just about to say, after rejecting Spurs to score a hat trick on the North London derby. to paraphrase or to quote Hilary Duff in the Lizzie McGuire movie, this is what dreams are made of. Uh, the consolation goal, you got no idea what I'm on about, do you? The consolation goal for Spurs was a belter, though. Richarlison from about 45 yards out.
Lob the keeper.
It's crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
And the final game, that is, of this game week, saw Man United host Everton, where Idrissa Gueye became the first player since Ricardo Fuller to be sent off for hitting his own teammate.
Do you think he should have got sent off? Or should the referee just giving him a yellow card and said, "Look, boys, calm it down."
It's not quite Bowyer and Dyer, is it? And it's also not quite Fuller and Griffin either. Like, Ricardo Fuller punched Andy Griffin in the face, and Dyer and Bowyer were like rolling around on the floor. Sure, is that the same? No, then it's not the same. But you can't be smacking your own teammates.
So, in answer to my question, what should the ref done?
I wouldn't have sent him off, but I can see why you'd want to stamp that sort of behaviour out.
There was some suggestion there should be some more leniency as well because it's your own teammate.
Oh, that's all right then. You just start smacking your teammates willy nilly then.
Okay.
Fucking hell. But no, the winner did come from Everton. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall with a fantastic solo goal, although it was deflected and dealt with, in my opinion, pretty poorly.
Was it
From Ken
deflected?
Lamb.
It didn't look like it was deflected. I watched it. Was it? Who did it come off?
I think it did deflect. It looked like it definitely did, or it bobbled, or there was something happened. But not a great day for United at all. They were pissed.
They thoroughly deserved it. Everton were brilliant. United were rigid. Continued to play five at the back. Made their own substitutions. Didn't play with energy. And Everton thoroughly deserved it. Well done, the Toffees. And they lost Seamus Coleman in the first couple of minutes as well.
Yeah, and O'Brien was class when he came on as well.
He was. They were all class. Every Everton player, George, every single one, apart from maybe Beto, every single one was an 8 out of 10 or more. United.
Yeah, I agree. Beto did some incredible defensive work when he came on as well.
Yeah, he didn't hold the ball up well enough, but yeah.
No, but all of his tackling from the front was unreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, just again, we talked about football romanticism quite a bit today, and David Moyes being at Everton is the ultimate football romantic's joy.
I'm good on him because he gets a lot of stick. He didn't. We're seeing with West Ham now how much they struggle. He did an unbelievable job at West Ham. And has been a brilliant manager, not always appreciated, and so I can't begrudge him that. He deserved it, and yeah, I actually clapped Everton off the pitch, which, as a United fan, I just thought brilliant, well played,
Well,
So,
I think at this current point is a great point for us to start wrapping up. But before we do that, anything else to mention?
anything else to mention? No, I don't think so. It's been a great show. It's been great to have you back, Jordan, and maybe not fully firing and fit, but yeah, you've come off your sick bed to be with us tonight. So
I must say, it's been a very difficult show to handle because there's been so much to go through because we haven't been having these conversations week to week. So I dread to think what the video length's going to be like for Will, but
But we've
it
not
should
got editing.
but it should get easier because we don't have to have as much in depth. Like I think we went way overboard on some stuff, but it's the first time we've had some of these conversations this season, and as far as I know, like you said, I don't see anything that we've not stopped. Usually we stop halfway through.
Yeah, me and Will haven't been doing that over the last few weeks. It just been even when we've had our 3 Premier League games and then doing the AFL scores, we've just carried on going, as long as we've been all right. So, yeah, the only thing you'll have to take out is the start. But
Oh yeah,
well,
nice little false dawn we had there.
but
Right then, mate. In
I'll
which
let
case,
you. I'll
take us
let you
home.
bring. Oh, me bring right. Um, Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight on this extravaganza of a football show that you'll find when it is uploaded, hopefully before the weekend begins.
Yeah,
A massive thank you to Jordan for all your insight on all things EFL. It's been
my pleasure.
fantastic to have you back in the hot seat, buddy. I know you've been through a tough time as well, so I hope this has given you giving you the bug back.
Definitely.
And a massive um, thank you to the man whose channel this is on, who, despite having family commitments, is still committed to us, Tube Mix. And yeah, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Tube Mix YouTube channel. We're getting better. We're getting better on this show. We're really got it down to a fine art now. Shout out to Ben as well. He'll be back, as I referenced at the start of the show, when his hammies are better, and that will have been all without him having kicked a ball. Thank you and good night.
Good night.